I would rather lose doing the right thing than win doing the wrong thing. My politics have been consistent in character and integrity throughout the time I started. And you can go and check. Can I go back to the question you asked earlier about comments of Governor Wike yesterday? There's something he talked about. When he was talking, the one I think he mentioned was when he talked about issue of integrity. He said that even my going questions my integrity. I don't know how that word came in, but I think when we talk about integrity, we should talk about the integrity in management of public resources. That is what we should be talking about in this country. And when such things are mentioned about me, I feel maybe there's something missing somehow. Well, let me correct the first impression. He said it's about dumping them. I didn't dump any. My party is like an association. You have freedom of association. You have freedom to go in, freedom to go out. It's a relationship thing. And when you go into a relationship in an association, you go in there for a reason. And if you feel that maybe the activities that you go on is at variance with your own person and your principles, the only thing you can do is to quietly and decently leave the place. And that's what I did. You could see my write-up to the chairman of the party. There was no tone there that shows any quarrel or anything. I thank them for the opportunity of being their member, opportunity of associating myself there, and said, going on, I found out that I can no longer continue because of some activities I believe that are at variance with my person and my principles.
What kind of things are that?
Well, it's not personal to me.
Okay.
Quite frankly, there's nothing. It's just like I always tell people, the process through which you get into arrive at any destination, especially when it comes to seeking a public office, is as fundamental as what you do thereafter. So for me, I want to be able to follow a process that I believe in. Some people will tell you, do anything, when you get there, you can correct it. No, I don't believe in that. The process must be same as what I do thereafter. As a politician, I have campaigned, I've gone around the country, I've done what I'm supposed to do, presented myself to the people, and if I find out there's other things I might not be able to be part of, I decently withdrew myself. I came into a system, and I was part of that system. I stayed there throughout the years I was in PDP. Nobody can question my loyalty to the party. I participated in everything, and when I'm going out, I didn't go out in a cross situation. I did it so decently because I have right to do so. I'm not desperate to be president. Not that I'm desperate to be anything. I'm desperate to see Nigeria work, especially for the youths of this country. It's not about, I keep saying, it's not about winning or losing. I would rather lose doing the right thing than win doing the wrong thing. My politics have been consistent in character and integrity throughout the time I started. And you can go and check. This is not the first time I left PDP, if you don't know. In 2002, when I started this politics, I was a member of PDP. Go and read what Olisametu wrote. I went to one meeting, and I wanted to contribute, and people said, no, you can't contribute. No, I quietly left them. I went to APGA, because I said, if I'm in a system where freedom of contribution is not allowed, I went to APGA, campaigned, won the election, somebody else was declared. I didn't quarrel. I went to court. I became the first Nigerian to ever stay in court for 3 years until court declared me the winner. I didn't quarrel. Same thing is what you see in that consistency I'm saying. When I became governor, 6 months after, I was impeached. I didn't quarrel with those who impeached me. I went to court. Eventually, the court brought me back. I became the first Nigerian to come back from impeachment as a governor. Of course, less than 1 year after that, election was conducted when my tenure was just about 1 year. INEC conducted the election, declared somebody as winner, he became governor. I didn't quarrel. I went to court again. And all through to Supreme Court, I won. That is why you have staggered election in Nigeria today. It was because of me. I became the first person to set that example. My late mother taught me, always be glad for an experience. No matter what it costs you. Can I go back to the question you asked earlier about comments of Governor Wike yesterday? There's something he talked about. When he was talking, the one I think he mentioned was when he talked about issue of integrity. He said that even my going questions my integrity. I don't know how that word came in, but I think when we talk about integrity, we should talk about the integrity in management of public resources. That is what we should be talking about in this country. And when such things are mentioned about me, I feel maybe there's something missing somehow. So you go and check my record as a governor. I was impeached for 3 reasons. 1, my office had an approved budget to be renovated for 298 million naira. I renovated everything with 43,200,000. My lodge, to repair and renovate the lodge where the governor lives, which is me, was 486 million naira. I did everything with 81 million naira. Number 3 item was that I was saving money without the authority of the house. From day 1, I said we must save money. And that went through. For 8 years I was governor. Go ask any contractor, whether any contractor was sat with me to talk about what is I'm entitled to, inflated any contract, any supplier, anybody. And when I left office, his record, I left $75 billion, $500 million at that time, because it's public money. I was managing public trust, and I did so. For me, that is, when you talk about integrity, it questions your management of public trust and resources. Go to Anambra State today. I have no land given to me by Anambra State government. My managing director of my housing authority, Mike Wafo, is still alive. He gave me land and 2 houses. And I told him, I'm not entitled to it. I'm the manager of this. So, for me, nobody have ever seen me in my political life sharing money anywhere. I'm not saying I'm a saint, but I did things which I believed that was right. If you had followed my mantra since I started this, I've always said, Shehu, the greatest tragedy of our country today is consumption and not production. It is sharing and not creating. I said I want to move the country from consumption to production. A country of 200 million people with a land size of 923,000 square kilometers cannot produce or feed itself. No export. So our total export is less than $30 billion.
How do you hope to, to change that narrative?
For 200 million people. Less than 30. That is including oil. Oil is about 80% of our foreign exchange earning. And so you can calculate how much that it is when you include that. So you're talking about, there's no way that can happen. There's no way that can sustain the country. It is not possible. Countries that are smaller in land size, in population, like I've always mentioned, like Vietnam, 100 million, 331,000 square kilometers of land, total export last year, $312 billion. 97% are manufactured goods. There's no production here. It must change.
What would you do differently to turn around this very challenge of our country?
So when you see me go around the country talking about trade, if you go through number one, which are there for everybody to see, is issue of human development index. So first is you talk about issue of health, you talk about issue of education, you talk about the issue of per capita. All these issues are issues you need to invest adequately in. And then especially the last one, you can only increase people's per capita by tackling the economy. And you can't talk about tackling the economy without talking about trade. It is trade that is the main, call it engine or wheel of economy. And countries after countries, growth are measured, wealth are measured by the trade of that nation. So that's the critical area where you need to invest. So I'm a trader. I've created wealth. I started as a micro, small, medium business. So I know what you can do in order to create wealth. Today we have massive insecurity, massive, problems all over the place. If you invest in the economy of this country and put millions of people that you have thrown into poverty out of poverty, so you reduce criminality. That has been done everywhere in the world. And we have talented young people, energetic, that we have not invested in. If you invest properly in them, give them access to capital, access to proper education and everything, it will be different.
How are elections rigged in Nigeria? There are 6 components. 6 components of successful election rigging in Nigeria. 6. Number 1, you need the candidate himself. The candidate that will be responsible for manipulating the rigging. The candidate and his political party. Right? From the candidate and his political party, you now need thugs that will snatch ballot boxes and cause electoral violence. So you need thugs. That's the second component. From thugs, you need compromised security agencies. And then you need compromised INEC, who is supposed to be the electoral umpire. From compromised INEC, you now have compromised judiciary. Yes? From compromised judiciary, what else do you now need? You need the 6th one, which is the most dangerous because nobody even thinks about it. The 6th component of successful election rigging in Nigeria is voter apathy. That has to do with the people. Now, these are the 6 components that makes successful rigging in Nigeria. 6 components. Now, how can you tackle each of these components to prevent them from being able to operate in any election ever again in Nigeria? How? You might be asking, are you trying to say that there is a way we can check the excesses of our security agencies, the police, the army, the DSS? Are you saying there's a way that we can check their excesses, check the excesses of INEC, check the excesses of the judiciary, of thugs, of the people that constitutes voter apathy and are responsible for vote selling? Are you saying that there is a way we can put all of these in check? Yes, there is a way. And those are the 7 action plan that constitutes Project Eagle. Without wasting your time, let me get straight to it. I will mention each of the 7 action steps, and I will show you which of the 6 components of successful election rigging they tackle. And at the end of the day, you will see, by the time we put all of them together, exactly how Project Eagle is the end of election rigging in Nigeria. The end. Okay. Action plan number 1. Electoral reforms. This one, we're on it. If we are able to successfully get the Electoral Act amended and get all the electoral reforms that we have brought up and suggested in the amendment that we sent earlier, and we get the amendment passed the way we want them, if we are able to do that, then we would have successfully checked the excesses of 2 components of election rigging in Nigeria. What are those 2 components? 1, the excesses of INEC, and 2, the excesses of compromised judiciary. When they tell you, oh, the law says, by then we will have a law that exposes their activities, and then there will be no grounds for them to operate. That's 1. Action plan number 2, political party reform. Political party reform takes care of the candidate himself as a component of rigging. The political parties in Nigeria, as currently constituted, they are responsible for scaring away credible leaders, patriotic leaders, through high cost of nomination forms, monetized politics, corrupt delegates, and what have you. Even when they tell you, oh, consensus candidate, it is all corruption. So if we're able to get the right reforms in political parties, what will happen is the political terrain will be leveled, it will be a level playing field, and then it will be competition of ideas, not how deep your pocket is anymore. That way, it is only credible people that will come and be thrown up. Or at least, the credible people will have a solid fighting chance. Political party reform will take care of the candidate himself. Right now, we are thinking, we have Peter Obi, we have Hamza al-Mustafa, some of you, we have Showore, some of you, we have this and we have that. But you see, the truth is, these are just a single head. You need to fill other positions. Putting a Peter Obi in power with the likes of Akpabio and Tajuddin Abbas in the National Assembly is still going to be very problematic. So the only way to get credible candidates to be thrown up, to unseat and send the likes of Akpabio packing, we need political party reforms. That does not shield credible candidates away from the system through billion naira politics. Action plan number 2, political party reforms. More on that later. Action plan number 3, parallel election monitoring. In fact, I'll rephrase that. Parallel real-time election monitoring. Parallel real-time election monitoring. What exactly does that mean? Let me explain. The parallel election monitoring is comprised of 2 components. Number 1, this technology part, which is the application. Number 2, the people. The technology part is Vote Vision. We are working on this app and we are launching July 1. This application will allow Nigerians to real time to collate their election results from the polling unit. It will allow Nigerians to collate the polling results from the polling unit, and the software will take care of the entering of the results, the automatic collation of the results, and the automatic real-time publishing of the election result as they happen from the polling unit. So you're just looking at the website, you are looking at your screen for those who may get the APIs. This is what part of the things that the electoral amendment is supposed to force INEC to do. But if we don't get the electoral amendment passed, we have vote vision. Now, even if we get the electoral amendment passed, we will still not trust INEC and sit down and do nothing. We will still activate vote vision, the app that will take care of real-time election collation and transmission and display or publishing. Yes. But we need people to do it. So we need a network of 600,000 agents, volunteers that we will call polling unit marshal. 3 per polling unit. Because right now we have about 189,000 polling units across Nigeria. So if they delineate some more, it can't go beyond 200,000. So multiply 200,000 by 3, you have 600,000 polling unit agents, right? That's 3 polling unit agents per polling unit. Now, you have a primary polling agent, you have a secondary polling unit agent, you have a tertiary polling unit agent. They are to check the excesses of each other. In fact, no polling unit primary agent will know who the secondary agent is or who the tertiary agent is. And as the results are declared in the polling unit, each of them are entering it into vote vision, and it is displayed real time. Parallel election transmission in real time, collation, and display. The law does not stop us from doing this. It's just that politicians have been lazy hitherto. I screamed my eyes, my voice out. In the Edo elections, do it, they refuse. In Ondo elections, do it, they refuse. But this time, since this is national, I promised myself and I promised my country, I will not let the 2027 election come without us having our own parallel election monitoring application with people on ground. They can go and buy their agents. They can buy the agent of political party, but we will have these volunteers that will be incorrigible because we will put things in place to check their excesses. Action plan number 3. Vote vision and polling unit marshal constituting real-time election monitoring. Action plan number 4. You know what that is? Calm guard. Real-time evidence gathering. Calm guard is also a combination of technology and people. So the polling unit marshal will have distributed to them, particularly those from the collation, the ward collation center up, primarily, because if we have 8,809 wards in Nigeria and we put polling unit agents there, that means maximum, multiply that by 3, maybe 20,000 polling, 20,000 or 24,000 or 27,000 or 30,000, what do you call them now? Mini cameras. And if each of them is 10 naira, do the maths. It is something that we can crowdfund. We have the application already available to aggregate all of these, the images, the videos, the audios from each collation center. We'll expand it to polling unit if we have the resources, because that will mean a lot of minicams, but we can handle from collation center up, and then individuals can handle with their phone because the application accepts input from the polling unit marshal. They can use their phone. And don't forget, in the polling unit on election day, we have a lookout system. It's a structured system that will allow people to be on the lookout while others vote. So that when the thugs are coming, there will be like an advanced team that will spot them and relay the information and give them and cause them to lose their element of surprise. You know, so that the mini camps that we have can be placed in very discreet locations that the riggers will not know where they are. Yet they are transmitting, and we can receive such information in video, in pictures, and in audio straight into the web app that we aggregate all of these evidences. And why do we need it? Have you ever wondered why they tell you to go to court after they rig? It is because they know that you failed to plan, and so you do not have the evidence, the admissible evidence to tender in court to be able to make your case. That is what happened to us in 2023. So this time around, we have learned from our mistakes. As the election is closing, whatever time it closes, immediately the last voter votes and the votes are counted. The evidence we need to win in court, we already have all of them. No need to apply to INEC, because we will win the election at the polling unit. Not even at the collation center. At the polling unit with action plan number 4. Calm guard. Now, action plan number 5 is called well fund. Why well fund? If you wait for election day for free and fair elections, it is already too late. Because there are so many things. Okay, I left out indicating the different components of the successful rigging that each of the action plan takes care of. Okay, fine. I'll take care of it here now. Well fund takes care of the most important part. Well fund, which is the action plan number 5, and action plan number 6, which is law patrol. The both of them take care of voter apathy, vote selling. They take care of it. How? Details coming shortly. We're launching well fund July 1. We're launching law patrol July 1. In fact, law patrol helps to ensure that everybody respects the rule of law. Law patrol ensures that access to justice is not expensive and impossible or difficult. It makes it cheap and even free. Law patrol, action plan number 6. Then number 7, action plan is the abundance party. INEC may try whatever they want to stop us from registering this party. But by the special grace of God, we will register it. And that is the machine, the political engine that will open up and put everything in place and make sure that election rigging in Nigeria is a thing of the past. These are the 7 action plans that constitutes Project Eagle. And we're launching them starting July 1. Are you in or are you out? Are you still thinking, oh no, it will not work? Look, I will tell you this for free. If we try, we may win. But if we don't, we have already lost. What do we have to lose by trying? Absolutely nothing. In fact, the way Project Eagle is structured, it is structured to take away the risk that you face when you act alone. If all of us act individually, we are like a single stick of broom. Even a baby can take the broom stick and break it. But if all of us come together, we are like the bunch of broom. Even Iron Man cannot break it. That is what the 7 action steps guarantees for us. It removes the individual risk factor. It removes it. So there is nothing for you to fear, but everything for you to gain if you're a patriotic Nigeria that wants a Nigeria that works for all of us. So don't just sit down and dispel everything I've said and say it cannot work. At least, let us try it. I'll be coming your way again before July 1 when we activate. Before then, think positive. A new Nigeria is very much indeed possible, starting with stopping election rigging. 2027 will not be a joke. Like they say, we go popo them. Even if their plan is to write elections, even when they will be writing it, we go to put fire for their nyash. We're not going to make it easy for them. At least we will make it difficult. We will peace for their peace. We go spoil their gen. Yes. We go spoil we go knock their engine. We'll be smart about it. And I know we shall win. See you later.